I mean, dude, we dropped literally 30 seconds of video. It's a minute-long video, but half of it is just like a clip, right? So we dropped 30 seconds of video, and the internet melted down. So we expected maybe a couple hundred views, maybe some feedback. We did not expect 500 new members in the Discord, thousands of views online, jabbers making a video about it. Like, it blew up. So we have to leverage that momentum, obviously. Like, there's a lot of negative press, obviously, with the trolls, but there's also positive because we're getting a lot of really good feedback, and we're able to, like, a lot of people have already heard about us and fucking barely started, you know, that's great. That's great for us.
Yeah, I got a question. Totally off topic. Are there gonna be boobs in this game?
Fuck's sake.
Only if you're there.
That is the best
Only
question I've ever heard.
Dude,
That
like,
was
nobody's asking the good questions here.
Yeah.
I think that's the right. I mean, that's the right kind of thinking. I think.
So to double back to the original question, how would an individual go about assisting or helping out, lending a hand in such a situation?
Moderation. What I would want to do is put you in touch with other moderators who like also are brand new at moderating in the server, right? Like I said, we did not expect the sheer number of people who joined. And obviously, like, dude, I'm a 4chan OG, so like when the trolls started coming, everybody was freaking out. I'm like, guys, stop! You don't want to rustle their jimmies, or they're gonna rabble and get more rambunctious.
Can you elaborate on the 4chan OG?
Well, like, dude, I was in high school when 4chan got popular, so that's what I mean. 4chan.
Okay, when you say it got popular, is that 2003 or is that closer to, like, 2016?
Yeah, a little later than that, when they took down MasterCard and stuff, like with the Battletoads memes. I don't know, Battletoads.
By the way,
Battletoads.
Yeah, I remember Battletoads.
Very familiar with the Battletoads meme, yes.
Dude, Battletoads.
Have you tried the new one?
I haven't tried Battletoads, but no, I think you misunderstood. On 4chan in like the mid to late 2000s,
yeah, you call it
was
I get it. But
not
there's also a new
GameStop.
one.
No, not GameStop. It was Pawn Stars. Like the guy Rick from Pawn Stars was getting called about Battletoads.
Porn stars, let's go.
Yeah, but there's also instances where you would call GameStop and ask for Battletoads, and they would get upset about it.
No shit. I wasn't aware of the GameStop. Cool.
So, like, is this TWS thing gonna be like Battletoads?
Just like Battletoads, and Rick from Pawn Stars has it.
Oh, sick.
By the way,
So
Circling
I can
back around to the trailer, where it says in-game footage at the bottom, is that actual in-game footage or is that in-engine footage?
An engine footage running on a newer i5 with only a 1660. So like quality, like that is what you can expect in real time. Like
Okay, I see.
Like we're doing gameplay testing in real time in that same exactly the scenes that you've seen. So in game is a fair statement.
Okay, what exactly do you have modeled ready to go?
We have a lot, but I saw you in here playing a recording of a private call with you in it previously. So unfortunately, yeah. So I don't consent to being recorded right now.
Yeah, I'm not
unless you're in
recording right now.
Texas, it would be illegal.
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not recording right now. Although it is indeed completely legal for me to record any conversation on Discord that does fall within my country's legislation, and due to international jurisdiction, that would fall into my rights.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, you do know that severely limits like the information I can share. So I don't know why.
Yes, of
why
course.
you would do that, but you know, like I'm trying to be transparent and work with everybody. Stuff like that makes it really tough to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't see how sharing that information limits your transparency when it is just a short clip of one incident that happened that I found very funny that I pulled up on Shadowplay.
We also don't want to give out like the secret sauce, right? Because we're building something here. There will be competitors, obviously. So, but yeah, I can share some of the stuff. So we already have like infantry models. We already have infantry mechanics. We're still tweaking it to make it better, but we have working good infantry mechanics. We have multiplayer that works via player hosts, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do player hosts with the final game just because of how big it is. We have the world rendered. We have procedural buildings. We have procedural cities.
I have a question. But can you prove that without limiting yourself like you said to competitors, for example, like screenshots or something?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be releasing some stuff in updates that we post. We have more than shared, kind of letting it settle down a bit, and then we don't want to drop every update in one shot either. So we're pacing out some of the stuff that we already have, and we're working on more stuff right now too. So, but yeah, we do have a bunch of cool stuff already working.
So I do have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
When it comes to the balancing and just the overall sandbox itself, how do you plan to balance mechanics between infantry, ground vehicles? I saw that the naval assets were going to be there. Somebody said that there was going to be naval gameplay.
At some point, there is going to be naval gameplay. We already have a buoyancy engine. We have boats that float. And they float properly with a different wavelength, wind effect on the water, which is super cool. But obviously, it's not like we're not developing that right this second. We have the buoyancy.
That's understandable.
That works. But yeah, but like, go ahead. The balance.
My question is, how are you going to balance all of this to make it enjoyable, engaging, and interactive between players without just an aircraft consistently just knocking infantry down?
That's been actually one of the biggest challenges that we've been looking at and thinking about. Because at the end of the day, if it's real, I want it to be there because we want it to be a sim. But at the same time, who the fuck wants to play an infantry game where you're just going to get raped by an A-10 every 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's not very enjoyable for an F-22 to fly over and drop a GBU-39 on your position from 40 miles away and you just die.
Exactly, right, yeah. So what we're trying to do is extend where things are spawned, right? So aircraft will have to fly a bit of a distance to get to an AO to be able to drop anything. That gives both sides time to get aircraft to that AO. And, if you guys play DCS, you know that if you have an A-10, there's F-18s in that AO, you are not fucking going there. That's a bad idea. So that, having attack helicopters be closer, but having anti-air capability on the ground is another way. There's a bunch of different things that we're doing. We want to balance it, but at the same time, we don't want to take away that sim structure. We want to feel sim.
You don't want to end up casualizing it in favor for unbalanced gameplay.
So ultimately, that's less a game mechanics question and more of a mission building question.
Well, the missions, we don't actually build any missions. The missions are organically created by the players without them even realizing. It's based on the spawn points and the intel that you get. I play a lot of Arma, right? Like on the account that I'm on right now, I have 6,000 hours, and I have another account with not more hours, but more time. A lot of Arma is sitting at the fucking base getting ready, right? That's the pain in the ass. It slows gameplay. It makes AAA players not want to play. So our focus is like smooth, clean, easy infantry, limited, if any, inventory system, and your loadout is selected before you load into the world, not once you're in there. And that's to make the action happen faster. At the same time, we want it to feel simish, but we also want it to be fun. So it's finding that balance. I think it's one of the toughest questions, but that's something that we're working on, right? It's something that we're gonna have to work on as we get further developed. Right now, we're still building the foundations of the individual systems. We have working infantry, we have beautiful infantry models, we have a working customization system for all your gear. We have. Sorry, I'm getting messages. As you guys can imagine, I had 1,000 messages when I woke up this morning. We have working flight models. We don't have clickable cockpits yet. We have a cockpit almost finished. We have working vehicles, but the interiors aren't modeled correctly yet, so we're working on those. But basically, we have all the systems that we need, and now we're slowly integrating them together. And those systems, as they're integrated together, will allow us to start getting, tech demos out, private pre-alphas out.
So as a continuation of my earlier question, speaking of systems, can you comment on what type of ADS you might have in game?
No hit markers, no HUD.
Let me clarify.
ADS, air defense system.
Air defense systems.
Oh, when you said ADS, I'm thinking downside.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
AAA,
I think it's the easier term.
We have a couple models. We're scripting and simulating an IADS. We haven't started on it yet, but I've scripted IADS from scratch in DCS more than a few times for enormous missions that I built. So
can you clarify when IADS is?
When it is?
No, what it is.
integrated air defense.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's just integrated air defense system as a concept. It's
it's
not
the
a specific
ability-
vehicle.
It's the ability for air defense systems to talk to.
Okay, all right.
Generally
so-
speaking, if somebody says IADS in this context, they're talking about the air defense system as a whole and the ability to communicate with each other, but also the individual units or whatever.
The thing about IADS is once you code one group with the correct logic, duplicate that group as many times as you want, and those systems will all automatically function together on the initial logic. So, like, it's a one and done type of system. Obviously, every missile, every type of SAM site is going to have different parameters. They all have different flight models, so they get flight models just like missiles will, just like bombs will, just like airplanes already are. But if we start with just a couple different systems and then start adding more, I don't think people will be really pissed off.
Could I quickly ask a question?
That's why I'm here. I popped in here knowing that you guys would ask some questions.
Oh, well, is the Track Horse Can game, is it gonna have some kind of sort like Zeus like in Arma? Where you could literally like mid-mission change the gameplay. So
It's been discussed. A lot of stuff goes into that. And to be fair with you, it's early to ask a question like that. It's early for me to answer a question like that. Ultimately, will there be some type of mission maker? Fucking most likely, right? Everybody wants that. But at this stage, we haven't started development on anything like that yet. The PvP and PvE is our focus right now, and having playable tech demos released in the time frame that we're looking at, and then eventually having the game released is our primary focus. But yeah, I would absolutely like to see stuff like that. I would assume you would if you're asking about it.
So I have a question regarding your armor assets, as I'm a big tank guy myself. But I noticed that your pre-order pack specified M1A1 and T72B. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
aware that these are like very specific models?
I
Or
am.
Are you going
I
for
am.
a?
We,
Are you
I
going
am.
for?
We're gonna have an A2 eventually. We wanted to, basically this was dropping that video to see if there was interest. And even though we got a gigantic wave of trolls and lots of, negative press as well, that showed me, just based on the reaction, that there is a fiery, enormous amount of interest in something like this if we can make it happen.
On
right?
the topic of the negative responses, the backlash, are you aware of why there was backlash in the first place?
Yeah, of course. Because nothing is fully fleshed out because we're early in development. That absolutely makes sense, right? But how do I find that out unless you guys can tell me?
Well, I
That's
personally
understandable.
think it was more along the lines of clicking the contact button, probably hoping to get into some kind of contact with a developer or some kind of PR spokesperson, or even sending an email to a help desk.
Yeah.
And then getting redirected to a Discord that, quite frankly, is barely suitable for a DCS flight, let alone people interested in learning about a game. I think it was poorly formatted,
Yeah.
and that necessitated a lot of trolls.
I agree with you 100% on that. If 30 people joined here, that would have been a different case, right? 400. So we absolutely were not ready for 400 to join. It was not. We were not prepared.
I was going to suggest that buzz early is buzz wasted.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yes and no. Yes and no, because when we release updates, people will be like, "Oh shit, I know that. I remember that. It looks like they are building this. It looks like this got done." So I'll agree but disagree. All press is good press, even if it's bad press. But there's limits and there are outliers to that. So, yeah, that's a very generalized statement. There's a
I
lot
don't
of
have a negative opinion or a positive opinion. That's my first time in the site, first time I heard of you, and I read all.
Ideally, that's what we really want, is just the awareness. We want you to just be aware that we exist. And then you can form your opinion based on what we produce later as more stuff comes out. But knowing that we exist, that gives us a good. And then we obviously got a lot of feedback, mostly negative. But that's fine because it lets us adjust.
Ballsy not to have anything and to ask for $80 for a pre-release. That's that.
I mean,
that was questionable.
I can agree with you. I guess ballsy is a good term. I think bold. That said, you're not obligated to do anything.
I personally
we're
wouldn't call it bold. I would call it short-sighted and foolish.
That's
quite often.
fair enough. That's
Quite honestly.
fair enough. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
That's kind of why I, in a quite long post that did get responded to and did get quite a lot of people agreeing to it.
My mod sent me your post. I agree with some of what you said. I do.
You know
I
what, though,
absolutely do.
Mitz and everybody, it all doesn't matter because you're in control of your money, and if they come out with something worth buying, you're gonna buy it no matter what you think.
No, it absolutely does matter. People do care because this is money that they have worked for, and
No,
you are
I'm saying
quite
you're in
frankly asking.
control of your money.
Yes, well,
You don't
you're
have
in
to spend it.
control of your money and you don't have to spend it. I do think that the idea of asking people for the strangely specific number of 1850, just as an example, that's not like the baseline price, obviously, but asking for something like that, or an investment of 80, 20, $10 for something that doesn't even look like it exists yet, judging by what you see on the website and what you see in the trailer.
I'm not here to defend him, but have you ever heard of Kickstarter?
Yes, and
Or
there's a
Star
reason.
Citizen.
So I want to.
Yeah, there's a reason
I
why
want to go
nobody
back to
funds
the original
Kickstarters.
line of questioning before we get off topic here. So Blackbeard, we talked about the M1A1. Can you give me a confirmation whether or not this is supposed to be the 1986 baseline model?
I do not know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I'm the CEO, right? So like I have my hand in a lot of different pieces of the project. There's some pieces I know the deep details about, and other pieces that I know general about. I can say that it's an A1. I don't know what year the A1 is, but I can say it's an A1, and that there will be an A2 as well later on, and that the interior is being modeled. Like we currently are waiting for the interior modeling to come back.
So speaking of interior modeling, when it comes to the gameplay itself, do you plan to have a 4-person crew like the M1 is supposed to have in real life, or a 3-person crew that eliminates the loader, or maybe something else?
That's a really specific question. I do have the specifics to that question. I do have the specific answers, but all I'll say right now is it will be multi-crew, and only one person has to own a mod for everyone to use it.
Let me ask a more broad question then.
So you're going with the I'm very sorry, but you are going with the idea or the business model that IL2 uses with Tank Crew, as in one person can own the module and numerous people can use it whether or not they own it or not.
I'm not familiar with that game, but yes, that's the model that we're using. Like where
Okay, cool.
the one person own and let their friends ride in it. That's the model that we're using because it's not a cash grab, you know?
So
There's nothing wrong with profit, Blackbeard.
a more broad question.
I agree, but at the
quite
same time, as a player, I hate the idea of like somebody else having to own something and me having to own it to both get in it at the same time. To me, that's annoying. It's always been annoying in every game I've played.
I'm saying there's no shame in profit. You sound American.
I'm wholeheartedly the most American guy. One of the most American guys you'll ever meet. But
So
yeah, I
can
can appreciate
the Star Citizen concept.
Say again.
Where basically you're using the Star Citizen concept, where you can just jump on a guy's ship and then.
I haven't played Star Citizen.
Okay.
Yes, it'll be similar to that.
If somebody in Star Citizen owns a ship, anybody in the world can get on their ship with them. They can fly it as long as the other guy pulls it out of his own hangar. They can gun on it, they can run systems on it, or they can just ride along and look at things that look pretty.
That is how everything's going to work, including aircraft. That's multi-crew without people having both.
Chesty, what's the question?
Yeah, Chesty had a question.
Ground units and multi-crew and things to that effect. I mean, is it going to be? I know the term full fidelity has been thrown around, but
that seems to be, and I want to cut you off. I think I should address this, and that's why I'm in here, right? Because like what we've been trying to say from the beginning is like we want to be completely transparent. We do have a detailed internal roadmap, but we're not married to that map, right? I've been a business guy for a long time. Your business plan isn't worth shit 2 hours after you write it. Things change as you go on the fly, and the ability to adapt to those changes is what's valuable. So that said, we do have an end vision. We do have a detailed roadmap, and we're not open to adjusting that roadmap as we go to make sure we meet the goals that we want for the end vision, right? The term full fidelity keeps getting thrown around. When we say full fidelity, what we mean is that everything in the cockpit will be clickable. all of the core systems will work. On, for example, classified aircraft, obviously we can't use classified data, so our best estimation is what will be modeled. The most realistic simulation estimated that we can create. And I think that's personally something that I've been looking for in games for years, right? For years. Yes, it is absolutely 100% true that you cannot model a one-to-one simulation every page of something that is classified and not public information. So what we're doing is creating the absolute closest possible simulation of it without using classified data or having access to classified. If that makes sense. And I know
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
term
not where my question was going at all.
Yeah.
well, I know that, but I wanted to bring it up because the term full fidelity.
Yeah, before the question gets
full
continued
fidelity.
with, I'd like to
Well,
just throw around a couple terms, just a couple questions.
Let me just wait. Let me
Yeah, go ahead.
find that phrase. The term full fidelity seems to have been the biggest point of contention, right? So full fidelity is a phrase that we want to change. And I think I posted in the community questions earlier today, I'm looking for suggestions. What is a better way to describe what we're trying to create that you guys think is fair enough?
Well, I'll tell you what's a better way. You've described it yourself. You've given yourself the better way of describing it. Instead of saying on your website it's high fidelity or full fidelity, say clickable cockpits, high quality systems, subsystems, weapons, high quality this, high quality that. You get a lot more content and a lot more interest that way than saying full fidelity, which is a term that is defined.
Can you explain it? Paraphrase that in just like 3 words for me so that we can include that. And now, mind you, right now, the feedback that I'm getting from you guys is going to be directly implemented in our project. So that's why, like, you know what I mean? When I say, hey guys, stop trolling, criticism is welcome, it absolutely is. Give me feedback that I can implement immediately. So paraphrase that. Give me 3 words that I can use to describe that, and I'll make sure that we have that implemented today.
We kind of went off of what we were originally talking about with the clickable or whatever you guys are talking about with the cockpits and stuff.
Yeah.
When you said that you're implementing the one person gets another buddy on another system that they do not own, how are you gonna make that work?
What, the multi-crew?
Yes.
It's
are you gonna allow multiple files with?
Well, the way that would work pretty realistically is the individual would spawn it if they have the rights to do so, and from there anybody gets in it.
It's just spawn blocking. There you go. Really simple.
That's literally.
And so then everybody would share the files in game.
Oh yeah.
No,
Every vehicle in the game.
Permissions to spawn it.
Right. Every vehicle in the game is in the game. The ability to spawn that vehicle is going to be dependent on who has that vehicle.
Similar to like Arma.
Yeah.
Just like Arma DLC, yeah.
Kind of like that, yeah. I mean, you know how in Arma when you walk up to a vehicle, it gives you that jittery thing across your screen that tells you that you can drive this and you need to buy. We're not going to have that. That would be terrible.
Will there also be vehicles that we can enter without those DLCs? Because otherwise,
if you look at the homepage of the website and you scroll down, everything on that homepage is a free vehicle that ships with the game. There's no one unlocking those vehicles. They are base vehicles that will ship with the game.
Okay. So backing way up to the question I was trying to actually ask.
I'm sorry, Jesse.
It's okay.
This is your fault.
I know. I said full fidelity.
You said full fidelity, and that triggered. That's my. I've got over 2,000 messages I've read in the last 24 hours that all refer to full fidelity.
Yeah. No worries. The actual question I was getting at is because it's supposed to be a high level of fidelity. We'll say.
High fidelity is good. I like that. Do you guys think high fidelity is fair?
Yeah, that's fine. High fidelity modeled to as accurately as possible with publicly available information without trying to make it too wordy. But anyway, is it going to be possible for somebody to get into an Abrams, for example, by themselves and use it, or will you absolutely 100% have to have a full crew of people?
The commander role will be able to override all controls.
Okay. So essentially Arma-esque in terms of you can pop in the commander role on the tank and you can press certain buttons to make the tank do certain things even if you're not in the right seat for that.
Yeah, so you'll be able, like, let's say you own the Abrams, you'll be able to spawn the Abrams. If other people jump in the Abrams with you, you'll be able to override their controls or allow them to drive. That's essentially what we have planned. We don't have the multi-crew like built in yet. The vehicle models are almost done. So the exteriors, we bought a lot. We got some free. We modify a lot of stuff, and then internals need built entirely from scratch. So we have a team.
How is that gonna work if they're gonna be able to override what people don't have, even if there's gonna be no HUD, like you said earlier?
If the tank commander, like the guy, right? Let's say you, Fushi, you buy a tank. You spawn that tank. Your friends get in it, or some guy you don't know gets in it with you. Do you want him to be able to like?
That's not my question. I'm saying, how are you gonna be able to do it?
I can answer that. This is based off actual real life stuff.
He said earlier that you're not gonna be able to. There's not gonna be a HUD system.
Yeah, you don't need a HUD system for that. I can answer this based on real life stuff. In a tank, the commander has the override ability over turrets that can force the turret to swivel to a location, or can force the tank to stop.
Now the tanks aren't going to be like study level. They're just going to be better than the standard. So that's why we're modeling interiors in the tanks, because we want it to be like better than the standard. Sure.
Okay, I got a question that goes way back to the beginning. So, like you said, with an attempt to join or help out with moderation, you would have to direct an individual to some of the newer or lesser moderators. Do you have plans to do that as a server whole, or are you going to try and do that individually? What's up with that?
One more time. Just repeat the question one more time, because I noticed Bonzo was here. Bonzo posted on the DCS Reddit that Trackwall scam was a scam, so I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. But go ahead, please, Shermy.
Yeah, let me try that again. So like I asked originally, when it comes to helping out with moderation, when it comes to helping out with the server as a whole, because we all agree at this point that this is an issue. Like you said, you would have to direct an individual to one of the newer moderators or one of the lesser individuals when it came to moderation. Do you plan to do that with individuals themselves that speak up and say, "Hey, I want to help," or do you want to do that just as a blanket? Hey guys,
we want to bring on anybody who wants to help. We want to have help. Tex, would you be interested in offering limited moderation tools to people, randoms in the server, who want to help, like, I guess, maintain moderation of the server so we don't have a yesterday ever again?
I guess short answer would be yeah. I guess I don't really see a problem with it.
But obviously limited tools so that they don't have access to all the channels, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe like putting people in timeouts or something. You know what I mean? Like deleting some.
I like that. I'm very cool with that. And again,
can I
go ahead, Flake.
real quick?
Of course you can.
So there should be a server owner role, meaning like you and Iman have that. Then me and Tex have admin roles, and then it should be the moderators below.
Okay, I can do that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you.
How my Discord's set up.
Yeah. So the reason why I mentioned it that way is because there's quite a few other Discords that do it that way that I know of, and the reason why it's that way is because you'll have rights to everything while we have like a step below that, and then we can control the moderators.
And we can override issues that arise in a sense. Like it kind of streamlines it, the whole Discord as a whole.
Yeah,
let's do
that. If the bot decides to go fucking haywire, and like let's say it has banning capabilities and it bans a whole bunch of people that
we can
posted a word, like a single word, and we can go back and fix that.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So what we'll do is probably make a public post later and like tag. I don't want to add everyone because that's annoying, but I'd like to get people who do want to be involved and help with the moderation. There's no reason that we wouldn't accept that help, So, and I'd like to get Tex and Flake working with you guys to see, to vet who wants to moderate, and and then of course we're open to that. We did not expect to grow this quickly, which is that's why it happened like this yesterday. It's insane. So yeah, but we're open
like 1,000 people join and like.
Dude, it was insane. I literally had 1,000 messages when I woke up this morning. That's crazy.
I think one issue is one reason why your moderation team is still struggling is definitely the layout of this Discord. What do you think?
Bro, my moderation team they're not even mods. I made them mods during the chaos and was like, "Help."
I was the only one before it blew up.
We
right?
could not have expect this type of reaction.
I kind of expected it. I just didn't expect it that fast. So what had happened was, I had the moderator role. All I could do was put people in timeout and delete post. I could not slow down the chat. You know what I mean? So like literally, it was pure chaos until like other people got the moderator role, and then we actually got the roles we needed to be able to try to.
Mind you, I had taken the day off. Like I wasn't even at my computer when I thought that we would just get, a couple hundred views and some comments, and I figured that would be useful feedback. Especially this early. We had no idea it would blow up like this, that fast, this early.
I highly recommend that nobody take a day off after releasing anything ever.
Yeah.
Ever again, bro. Honestly, like I literally just posted it in my own Discord too. I had no idea that it would be reshared everywhere. The YouTube account we posted it on had 0 subscribers. Like we did not expect it to blow up like that. So I won't make that mistake again.
Well, at least you know you got a community.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, a community is at least following you now. So
yeah, we
you
had to
got
call.
that.
We had to call a lot of the trolls. One of the mistakes that I'll admit we made is when we were calling trolls. You gotta remember, I was like 97 messages behind scrolling through, and banning people for stuff they said 97 messages ago, and it was also deleting like multiple posts that they made where they did ask some valid questions, and people saw that as banning people asking valid questions, which wasn't the intention at all. We want criticism, we want questions. Obviously, we don't want trolliness, we don't rudeness, but we absolutely want the criticism and questions because that helps us shape and build a better product. Bonzo, you have been one of the most outspoken and public people about what we're doing, right? Because I saw your post on the DCS Reddit that was blowing up, front page. I would love to hear from you, and you can sit here with your mic. I'd love to hear from you. Like, I'd like to answer any questions you have.
So, as an extension of that, perhaps a voice text channel would be beneficial. I noticed that during the Q&A session yesterday, a lot of individuals were posting their vocal answers in the general chat while it had no basis or no connection to the voice chat itself. So, I think potentially a couple extra channels, especially for, I don't know, memes, voice text, other things, just as a structure overall, would be very beneficial.
That's a really good idea. I've never run a Discord this big. I really didn't expect this.
Yeah, I've ran about maybe 10, 15 of them. Like,
my first rodeo. I can tell you have. I can tell.
Same thing, you could have a standby room and then only bring certain number of people in at a time.
Oh, I completely forgot Discord added the ability to use a open chat channel in this channel. Like if you go and click on the voice text or the voice channel itself, you can open the chat. Like this is a brand new feature that came out 7 days ago, so but just nobody knows about it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm all about it.
I know really you probably already answered this question, but what time frame are you looking at? Like roughly, like quarterly, by the end of the year, beginning of next year?
So
releasing out the alpha.
A lot of people have been posting incorrect information. I'll take some of the blame and say maybe I didn't convey it well. Maybe it wasn't received well. Maybe there's just confusion. But there have been a lot of people just posting completely incorrect things. We have a lot of individual working systems that we're still tying together. Infantry is one of them. Already working. We're tweaking it. We want it to be better. It runs smooth right now. We like it, but we want it to be better. We had to add prone. The prone it didn't look right. It didn't feel right. So we're making adjustments. But we have a lot of working systems. I would like to, and this is what I want to do, I'd like to have something playable, even if it's just a small tech demo, in the next 90 days at some point. That is what I would like to do. Okay. Will it happen? I'm not sure yet. It depends on the too, because I know that anything I release is going to be scrutinized to the highest level, even though it is super pre-alpha. But but I guess I'm kind of prepared for that now based on my last 24 hours. But I'd like to have something playable, at least a tech demo, in the next 90 days.
Okay, so I've got a couple things to comment, if you don't mind.
Wait. I asked a question really, really far back in the beginning about pictures, not like things to scrutinize.
No, for sure. Listen, I'm open to criticism 100%. It just needs to be constructive.
I just think that a lot of people think that this is a scam because they don't see a lot of the proof. And I know you don't want to show a lot of things because you don't want your competitors to get like advantage on you, but you should honestly put out screenshots of what is going on and things like that.
So,
for example, DCS shows screenshots of their development as it goes. Not like huge things, but it's like little things here and there of what
if you pop into, I believe it's the community questions channel. Earlier today, I was having a chat with a couple of people, and they were being really cordial, just like you guys are being now. Everybody here is being cool right now.
That was one of them. You posted the T45 stuff.
The T45, right? So I posted some shots of the T45 that we're building.
Yeah, but you should have a thing where it's nobody else can talk, but you should post
the updates channel.
Yes.
That's where it's gonna be. You got to remember, bro. We posted this video yesterday at 11 a.m. Right? And like people are asking.
Yeah, but
like,
you have said all this.
Where are the updates?
Yeah, but you have said all this stuff about how you have all this stuff. Why don't you prove it right now?
Hey, Blackbeard, I'm a CEO of a software company. Not unlike you, I don't make a sim. You know, I got about 150 employees, and you do you, baby.
I appreciate that, Sleep. I do appreciate the shit out of it.
It doesn't matter what. Listen, I'm not going against any of these fine people in here. Everybody's being cordial. I've noticed that.
It's cordial. That's why I'm still here, man.
Bonzo won't unmute, but that's okay.
It's not that Bonzo won't unmute.
He's probably also recording.
No, Bonzo just can't talk.
You. And, you know, you're on the right track. Having a vision is having a vision, and you know where you're at. And every one of these people, no matter what they say, doesn't matter what they say here. If you come out with a solid product, if you say, not, by the way, there's an article in the New York Times, not that I love that paper, but it says the insanity of being an entrepreneur is you're only, you know, all you need is 90 more days. So you might say that 2 or 3 times. I know I did. I said it about 12 times.
My wife's been done with this lifestyle since she met me.
I understand. My wife just smiled. My wife left me once over this. No, my girlfriend did. She's my wife now. But you do you. You know what you've got, and I love the fact that you're out here taking a risk and talking to the community. But this is a tough community, man. I was in your industry, okay? I did QA for Micropose and Spectrum Holobyte after Falcon 4 came out. Our company to try to get them out of the shithole, and the abuse was unbelievable.
These guys aren't that bad.
No, I'm not saying anyone in this room is bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you do you, man.
I appreciate that.
You said, you wanted to get something out in 90 days. If it takes 180 or 270, that's software.
True. Either way, it's coming, right? The grind.
Don't embarrass yourself with a bad release because of pressure. You do you. Everybody's got DCS and a few other things, and when you emerge, they'll be there.
Yeah.
And the reviews will speak for themselves. I've just been doing this a long time, and and I mean this respectfully to everybody here, but also honestly. Everybody tells everybody else what they should do. It's like listening to, not that you're Elon Musk or that I'm Elon Musk, but I see everybody telling Elon Musk how to do his thing, and I'm thinking, the dude has done all this stuff, but all of a sudden you got it figured out. So,
well, here's the funny, Elon Musk. Everybody said he couldn't get the rockets to land, and that's what
the first time I saw those rockets come back in and land on their own, bro, I almost shit myself. That was incredible. That's a visionary, man. That was incredible.
They said the same stuff about Tesla when he got close. Now they're saying he's just a greedy bastard and he's not worth a dime and he doesn't know what he's doing with Twitter. And I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And my point is, dude, just do your thing.
You can never please the mob. That's fine.
Yeah, you can't please the mob. Don't try to please the mob, man. But I think it's gutsy of you to be here. There was a time when I couldn't take it.
At the end of the day, though, I do listen to the mob. There's a lot of filtering that has to go on. But I do listen to the mob because at the end of the day, I can't build what I want. I have to build what everyone wants, right?
You have to build what most people want, and you can't build
that's true.
It takes $1 million to return 100,000. But
absolutely true.
We fight these fights every day in our software company. It's brutal.
I love that, Sleep. Feel free to connect with me. Send me a
I tried to DM you, but it's not there.
Well, if I send you a friend request, then you can DM me.
And I'll introduce myself properly.
DMing, Bonzo said he can't talk, but you're welcome to message him.
Okay, I'd love to chat with Bonzo for sure.
And that's where the voice text chat would come in handy. That way he can post his question in there. You can see it. That way.
You know what? Let's make one right. I only have a few more minutes, but let's make one right.
Hey,
So-
I can do it real quick.
Another proposal for the future is to utilize Discord stages when you may not want people, I suppose, posting their opinion in the channel that you see when you join.
I don't know what any of that means. So my mods.
Yeah,
that's Tex and Flakes department.
There you go, Bonzo.
You'll have to turn the Discord server into a community server first.
Oh,
Yeah.
daughter's sleeping. How old, my man? I won't share publicly,
Ages.
but in our private message. How old?
Can I
8.
ask a
Oh,
question?
okay. I have a 1-year-old sleeping in the other.
Blackbird,
Yeah, go ahead.
how can I become a moderator?
That good time to be here. So Shermie and I'm scared. You guys are gonna get with Tex and Flake. We'll get you guys set up.
I'm scared that you're going to keep
Excellent.
posting those politically incorrect posts.
Hopefully
Is
we
there a
don't have any.
moderator?
Hopefully we don't have any more of those. Yeah, anybody who's posted that is gonna be an autumn. I think that's.
So this is my last suggestion, and then I'm going to grab something to eat. If I was you, I would at least go pin those T45 renders that you posted. At least that way you can immediately go ahead, go check the pins on this channel, man. You know, we already talked about that. That way people can immediately go back to that. They go, okay,
and then
they're
turn the
doing
comments
something.
off.
Yeah,
Hold on,
any
to caveat-
announcements
Hold
or
on.
answers
Hold on.
or
Hold on.
stuff like
Hold on.
that.
Yeah,
And
So what we'll
real
do for that is we'll
Put that
have
in
a
the
separate
update
channel.
folder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put it in.
that.
We'll
We
have a
have
dev
we have the
update,
updates.
and we'll put it there.
And turn the comments off.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it so nobody else can say anything in there.
Right.
Yeah,
seeing
we
the
have
updates
we have
is
we have the
there.
updates
Is there-
channel. We have the
yeah.
updates channel, so we'll post them in there. I mean, the guys here know we have a lot more than just what we posted. And yeah, the backlash has been crazy, but it's also like I'm kind of happy that the press is there. You know, I'm kind of happy that it got that. I'm not happy with the backlash that we got, but I'm very happy with the amount of attention that we got. So,
what was the name of that game that was being made? There's like a whole thing on YouTube where basically they took people's money and it never came to.
there's so
A
many.
lot of those.
There's so many
There's
games that
actually
have
a
done
lot.
that, and
Well,
that's
like
why
Day of Dragons.
that's why I'm so like understanding of the fact that people are absolutely skeptical. It's expected. It's understandable. It's like there's no reason not to. And I want to point out, this has been brought up a lot, like, oh, how dare you, offer to take people's money. I'm self-funding this, and I've been self-funding this since day one. We have a budget, we have a timeline, with or without pre-orders. I'm going to continue self-funding it, continuing to build. That said,
I already pre-ordered. So.
and we appreciate the support. We have guys who pre-ordered.
Senpai can tell you which one I pre-ordered.
We appreciate. I think he did already. We appreciate the hell out of that. We appreciate the hell out of the support. That said, we have guys who pre-ordered who already requested refunds, and I won't name them, but we process refunds, right? Like we want to be as transparent as we can. The money that comes in on pre-orders now isn't going directly into development. We still have our budget for development. We're still good. But what we are doing is preparing for what you have is what's called a runway. When you run a startup, you have runway. It's a certain amount of time that you can operate the business at your burn rate, which is your average monthly spend. And as you get close to the end of your runway, you have to inject new cash in order to continue the project. So what we're doing is basically prepping our runway so that as we get towards the end of our current right, dude, if anybody here has ever raised money before, it is a full-time year-long job to raise cash. So, and I've raised money before for businesses. It's a real pain in the ass. And what I learned in all the startups that I've worked on is always start early. Talk to your customers early. Start raising early. And I don't want anyone here to feel pressured to pre-order. We love pre-orders because it helps us. Nobody here is taking Tex. How much do you get paid?
Nothing.
Flake, what do you get paid?
Nothing.
You guys know how much I get paid? Nothing. I'm pouring money into this, right? So we love pre-orders because it helps us fund the development, which helps us build the team bigger, which helps us speed up development. That said, don't feel pressured to pre-order. I want you to feel pressured to stay and follow development and see what comes. And when you are impressed, maybe pre-order. If even you're impressed and you still don't, whether it be don't have means or don't want to pre-order, then don't. Wait till the game comes out. Play the free-to-play. I don't care if you never buy anything. Grind. Just grind in the game. Just play the game. Because you guys playing the game builds the community and helps me build this game. And that's, we love flight sims. We love ground combat, like Arma. I'm a huge Arma guy. We love games like that. That's why we're building this. It's purely a passion project. We had no idea that it was going to have this type of reverberation through the community. But I'm glad you guys are here, and that's why I'm even here in this public chat talking to everybody again.
Fair enough. If you don't mind, I've got just 3 questions that I wanted to ask about previously. I never got a chance.
I can do Mitz. I love you, and I've already given you some like personal one-on-one time with just the dev team. I will take one of your questions, and then we'll do two more questions from 2 separate people in here, and then I have to bounce because my wife, even though I took the day off yesterday when we dropped the video, she has been handling everything in my house for the last 24 hours without any help from me. So I want to definitely get back to my wife and help her out with the kids now. So your question and then 2 more. Go ahead.
Okay. On average, what kind of size of each team do you have in terms of development?
Let's see. We have 11 total. So we have a couple 3D modelers, 3D modelers in-house. We have a couple community managers and SMEs. So a couple of our community managers are SMEs. We have me, and then we have 2 programmers, and then a couple other people that have like miscellaneous roles. But I mean, we're hiring for all roles, right? Cycle in and out. Like we hired and fired several people as well.
Blackbird.
Yes, sir.
Would you also maybe know what like the average spending on this project's gonna be? How much?
To be honest with you, I do not. I know what I've spent so far. I'm not going to share that publicly, but I assume, as with all software products, that 90% of your spend is on the last 10%. Like when you're basically trying to refine to make a good product, refining is expensive and consuming. So I expect that the majority of the spend will actually be on the back end of development. And I haven't developed a game before, but I've built businesses and developed software before, and that's my experience. So I'm assuming that that's what's going to happen. Honestly, I'm going to play it as it comes. We have a roadmap. We're not going to necessarily stick directly to it, but we have an end vision, and we're going to adjust and pivot as we go to make sure that we're able to build the best product.
Okay.
And one more. I got time for one more.
Like Fortnite?
Fuck's sake.
Good question. That's a good question. Go ahead. I'll take one more after that, like one serious one after that. The first time I played Fortnite, it was 15 minutes. I jumped behind a rock, and the dude sniped the rock, and it disappeared. And I was like, this game is not for me.
Goes back to
not a question, more of just a general suggestion. In the spirit of transparency that you've been talking about a lot, it may be an interesting idea to explore something like Star Citizen does with their crowdfunding page on their website. People can actually see how much money they've raised, not necessarily to the same level of depth that they do.
I've heard a lot of bad stuff about Star Citizen. I haven't played it. I'm not familiar with the project. I did like a little bit of reading. I know that they raised a ton of money. But as far as I'm aware, their fan base overall doesn't seem happy. But again, I don't know enough about it. I don't want to go that.
The game glitches so much.
I'm not talking about adopting any of their business practices.
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about a page on the website that shows your kind of basically what you've raised from pre-orders or general funding, or just crowdfunding from the community, not necessarily from any private investments or anything like that.
Probably do that.
Whose microwave is that?
Sorry, there's a cake being baked in the background.
I don't. My microwave's in the kitchen, bro. It ain't mine.
So we could probably do that as more pre-orders. We have pre-orders. We have gotten a bunch of pre-orders, one-off, but at this point, I don't think it's necessary to do something like that. When the numbers start getting really significant and impressive, then we'll probably post that because it'll help money, right? But again, right now we're not like struggling for cash. We're good. We're really just using the time that we have to continue developing, and ideally for us the priority is flushing out the systems, making them as good as they can be. I don't know if that's a fair answer, right? That's what at least that's how I see it.
Answer. It's a perfect answer. We all love it.
Well, I appreciate that, but that's it. All right, guys,
Yep,
I gotta get running, but I appreciate you guys coming in here, and everybody was cordial. This is the type of chat that I'm happy to have whenever you guys want. So
absolutely, thank you for your time.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Be good.
Bye bye. And you. Kiss kiss.
Hey, Dobbs.
What's up, man?
Hey guys, let's go.
What are you doing?
Now. Let's play.
I was getting ready to jump on DCS.
All right.
What are you doing?
Probably gonna start cooking here pretty soon.
Okay, I already did that.
Oh, it seems
You're
like
always
I have to be
cooking.
good friends with the boss in
yeah.
order to be mod. By the way, the Flag Senpai. How good of a friend do I have to be towards Blackbird?
For what?
What is the goal of that question?
Yeah, what's the goal of that question?
I mean, are you looking to tongue punch his
Blackmail,
what,
torture, waterboarding, human trafficking.
Yeah, speaking of which, if I'm not mistaken, he directed both of us towards you in an attempt to see about some type of position to help out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe there should be like some kind of CIA in this Discord.
No.
Secret police. Hitler Youth.
No.
Yeah. I'll apply for that shit. That sounds fun.
Of course you would, you fucking Dutch.
I mean, I almost did the same to that dude that was called, what was he called again, with the anime titties?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You don't have to answer if you can't find an answer for it.
It's kind of hard to sit here and answer a question that is worded so weirdly like that, because I don't understand fully like what it means.
Okay,
what you're trying to get at.
What was the exact question, Fons? What did you
Well,
say
he's
exactly?
like, how good of a friend do I
Dutch.
have to be?
Okay, so essentially he's wondering how nice, how not Dutch he has to be, how nice he has to be to Mr. Bossman, essentially.
It's my Dutch translator, Mitz.
Yep.
Mitch, you're doing a shit job. He can't even fucking understand it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm like
fuck
multitasking
up, you
like
Dutch
really
piece of shit before I snap your fucking neck.
Well, you
we understood,
fucking
mate.
it.
We understood.
You're my man.
I'm going
you
to
know
fucking
that.
eat you.
You
All right, John. All right, come on. So, about moderation, I personally, and this is a personal opinion, this isn't the view of the mod team or the admins. I personally want people who are 18 years of age and older, and people who I've talked to before and gotten a good basis and understanding of how that person is, meaning like your personality, your likes and dislikes, your views on the rules.
Whether or not you'll take a windy walk down the beach at moonlit night.
Yeah, but
do I need to be fat?
No. What does that have to do with anything?
So just go to the McDonald's if you want me to be fat. Like
so.
Bro, you're not going to my place of work.
Then we gotta wait till we get the
admin
lineup,
roles.
if you will. Yeah, the admin roles. Make sure we actually have all the sub little things within that admin billet, if you would. Like, if you understand what I'm talking about.
And like I told you in DMs, Scared, is that there's still a lot of things that me and Tex have to do on the back end, and also a lot of fixing we have to do with the Discord because of what happened before we can give any final answers and before we can sit here and be like, yeah, you have mod.
Yeah, okay.
But so
we do appreciate it though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But real quick, for those that want to, the text to voice channel that was just made, I guess, if those of you want to be a mod or want to be considered for one, just drop your name in there and be like, hey, I'd like to be a mod, or something like that. That way, once we get the admin actual roles, and then we can start organizing things, we can start looking at that list and going from there.
Also, another thing is we're gonna try and get a list of questions that we can ask you guys to answer. I'll be 100% honest with you guys.
You're gonna interrogate us.
No.
No, they can't interrogate you as well as I can, Fonz. Don't worry about it.
That's true. Mitz does a pretty good job of it. But
for our next holiday, we're going waterboarding in Guantanamo Bay.
what you two do outside of Discord is what you two do outside of Discord. Just say it. But Shirley,
I don't
you brought
know,
up.
Mario.
I'll tell you straight up. You brought up a lot of good points. So.
Hey man, I'm just asking questions here.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Like I'm very, very happy that you're asking the questions that you've been asking.
I mean, to be honest with you, I originally a lot of my text-based opinions and questions can be taken out of context and seen as aggressive. But to be honest with you, it's just questions that relate to the game itself or the individuals asking them to get a better understanding of what's going on around here. Because to be honest with you, it's a shit show. It seems like a joke. Part of the reason why people think this is a scam is because when I first joined the server, they had 3 text channels. One was full of people joining. The other one was just chaos.
Yeah, well, to reiterate, when we posted the trailer, do you know how many views we got in the first hour?
I was sleeping when you posted it. A friend of mine.
480 people in the first hour watched it and joined the Discord within the hour. Like, we had not expected people to actually go and watch the trailer for the first week. Like, to be 100% honest, we were not expecting 400 something people to go watch.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So it's kind of hard to sit here and be like, oh, we should have had the Discord like this. We should have the Discord like this, like these restrictions, blah blah blah. When we were like, okay, we're just making a video game. We're gonna post a trailer on YouTube that's probably not gonna get watched. And then what happened yesterday happened, and it's like, what the fuck?
So speaking of which, I do have a question. When did the idea of making a video game come into mind? Like, whose idea was it, and when did it occur?
So it was Ollie's. I will say that it was Ollie's. We were all flying, and I saw that someone in the community questions brought up that the reason why we quote unquote started making this video game was because we got mad that DCS nerfed the Tomcat. That is not true.
Yeah, no, that was a joke. I'm almost 100%
Yeah,
sure.
Pretty sure that's just.
Hold on, I'm just clarifying it, even though it's a joke. We're going to go ahead and clarify because people are going to start asking.
Fair enough.
This.
Yeah, fair enough.
And Bonzo's already recording, so this is. Hold on, Bonzo's already recording this, so that's fine. So the reason why I say this, it probably is. I mean, why else would he be here?
It's fine. I mean,
to listen to.
Like yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
no, he's not going to. It's fine. It's fine.
It didn't.
He's allowed to do it. There's nothing we can do to stop it that I know of.
I mean, he is currently talking.
Honestly, even if we could.
If you look at the voice channel chat, the one that's actually attached to the voice channel, he has been kind of talking.
Can we ban Mitch for racial behavior?
Sorry, I beg your pardon, Fonz.
Easy, you two. Come on now.
All right, go ahead.
So, anyways, I'm trying to answer the question. So, yes, we're upset with how Heat Blur and Eagle Dynamics have treated the Tomcat. We're also upset that proximity fusing is not implemented on servers whatsoever. Like, it's not implemented in the game. Like, that's how the Phoenix works. The Phoenix gets within 250 yards, like a SAM missile does in real life, and detonates.
It's not. It's not just the Phoenix though.
And it's not just the Phoenix though. Like,
but basically, we just wanted to see if we can make something that combines
better.
the air side and the ground side better, and simplified, more of a simplified interface. Like for like the ground side of people, like take the UAVs for example that are on the site. Something simplified that they could still do like some kind of air support, if you will, and not have to go and worry about learning how to do a cold start on an aircraft or something. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to figure out what would be the best mesh to bring essentially 2 different communities into one. Huh, where'd Bonzo go?
He probably left because he had nothing else to talk about. Because he was going to talk to Ali, I would assume. Leading on from the kind of question on how you're going to optimize it and the whole DCS and armor stuff, there are people who say maybe working at lower fidelity would be better. What do you think on that? Because obviously this is kind of what you guys are doing.
I mean, with the nanite, it does allow you to do things like more in a high res, if you know what I mean.
Higher polygon.
Because I'm really getting tired of hearing the word high fidelity, and you know, just the fidelity word in general. Really
well, the term high fidelity is what's being thrown around by kind of the website. Yeah.
I know, but so basically the nanite makes it to where it's less strain on your desktop, like on your PC. You know what I mean? So it allows you to put more things in, and we're still experimenting with it. But it so far, like you're able to do a lot more using that system.
So you're using nanite for the static areas on the map, such as the houses.
Yeah. Everything that we can, we're gonna try to have nanite.
Okay.
Where we can, in other words.
Okay. Do you think that maybe, kind of linking on from the whole fidelity kind of thing, do you think that maybe working at a lower standard of, I know that you don't like the word fidelity being thrown around, kind of interactivity, and then slowly ramping it up through the development process? Do you think that would be more sustainable than going for high interactability throughout the entire development cycle?
Well, to be 100% honest, the cockpit is going to be as clickable as it can be, meaning like all the switches in it are going to be clickable. Any of the knobs are going to be rotatable, that et cetera, right? So that's why we say, you know, we use that term high fidelity. I also hate it now because of how people have been treating it. I mean, that's just how it goes, though.
That's why I started making that one line that you probably see over and over in Discord.
Yeah.
Like high fidelity meaning clickable, and you know.
And someone brought up a good point that full fidelity to the community means something different than what we're saying it is. That's true because we've only had DCS and like Arma and games like that give us that definition of it.
In fact, it's only DCS that's given that definition of it.
There you go.
And
what
the
happens,
definition is something that is first come, first serve. So,
well, in a sense, yes, but it's just one of those things where it's like you said, we're gonna try and do what we can to get it as realistic as possible.
Okay.
We're gonna give y'all what we promised. If it takes a long time, it takes a long time. But everything that you see on there, you will be able to fly, you will be able to drive on the website. You will be able to fly and drive. Now, will you be able to sit here and pull the model apart and like War Thunder and have like this is how ailerons work and stuff like that? No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. Do you feel confident that the current development team can actually pull this off?
Yeah, honestly.
I honestly believe we can. Like with the parts that we're at now. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Flip.
I was gonna say, so someone mentioned asset flipping. To be fair, we paid for that. We paid those people for those models. So we're allowed to do whatever we want with it. It's not like they say it's a bad thing, but it's not because we paid them for those models. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And mind you, like when you see the post and people, oh yeah, you just get the model, throw it in, and boom, there you go. Right? No,
that's not true. That is not true whatsoever.
At all.
Like
so there's a lot of work that goes into it just to get it ready to go in.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Okay. Off the back of that, if you don't mind me just cutting in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I recall Ali mentioning that there are changes made to the meshes, to the textures. What's the extent of your knowledge on that?
Are you referring to how to do it, or are you referring to like everything that we're dealing with right now?
I'm referring to kind of not exactly how to do it. I'm not asking for like a step-by-step guide. I'm asking more kind of what kind of things do you do with it? Like what kind of things do you change?
So the things that you change for the textures and stuff is essentially the UV maps, things like that, right? In order to get the textures that you want, you have to do those changes. You have to try and make them as high quality as you can. Now, the model itself, there's like the polygon count and the vertices count. There's really nothing you do with that. Like you don't. There's really nothing to do with that because we buy models that have high poly count, high vertice count. We that's what we're specifically looking for. So that way, when we go to texture it and we go to UV map it and stuff, it's going to look phenomenal when you put it in the game.
Okay.
So it's a I know it's a little weird to hear it like that, but there's a lot that we actually do that we've done to certain models that essentially give away like how to do it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's pretty fair.
When can we recreate?
All right, I gotta hop off. So.
All right, no worries. Have a good one, man.
A little bit later.
When can you recreate Top Gun? That's a good question.
Fucking never. If they're running any kind of realistic kind of flight model in like even remotely, good luck.
Yeah, right.
We can alter it.
Yeah, we can change the entire event of Top Gun.
Yeah.
No issues there. A couple questions that I did actually have on my mind after I kind of did the typical journalisty thing of going and looking at external sources was kind of like the parent company Sherbet. To what extent is the parent company involved? Is this project a direct venture of theirs, or is the team working on Trackwell Scan its own kind of thing?
So the person who owns that company is Ollie.
Yes, yeah, of course.
So, to be 100% honest, you're gonna have to ask him that question because I don't know what he's done necessarily. Meaning, like if Sherbert, as far as I know, Sherbert is the parent company, but I don't know the exact details on like the involvement of the actual company itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So the CEO's funding us money. He's funding the project, of course, and has Sherbert's and it has the company logo on there and says it's
as a result of funding. So it's a contributor then. We'll go with that for now.
Yeah, I would go with that for now until he like clears that up because it's kind of hard for me to sit here and tell you X, Y, and Z because I physically don't work for that company.
If you don't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of excludes the questions I had about like the partners and the CFO's involvement in it, if it's more of a personal venture or a contributed kind of venture for the business. So if we move on a little bit, obviously skipping over all the kind of Sherbet questions that a lot of people ask. In terms of the website, are there any barriers to it just being corrected at all?
No.
Okay.
Oh. No. So are you referring to like wording? Or are you referring to like imaging? Like
mainly wording. I don't have a problem with some of the imaging. I know some people will get annoyed that it definitely just looks like a stock model. I personally don't really give a shit. I mean, I'm here to judge it on what the game actually turns out to be, not what I can see on a PNG. So, like, it was suggested earlier in this chat that the words high fidelity and full fidelity be changed for other words. I was asked to come up with a word to replace it, 3 words to replace it. I would personally say high interactivity, because you're saying, what was it? You're saying like every switch, every button, every knob, clickable, twistable, flippable. But you didn't necessarily say they all function as they would in the aircraft.
What do you mean by functional in the aircraft?
Well, obviously, they're not just going to put a dead switch in the aircraft. If you flip the switch, something happens with it.
Oh, of course.
You're not aiming to
So,
simulate every single function of every single button, no.
we would love to, but of course, classified material gets involved in that part. Like confidential above.
Yeah, of
all
course,
that
but
all that
even
bullshit.
you
like
know,
ECM,
yeah.
like the ECM switch in the 16 wasn't available until how long ago? Like not even a couple weeks, because they weren't allowed to do it for said reasons.
Yeah, of course, government contracts and whatnot.
Exactly.
I was more referring to the point when the whole cold startup procedures were mentioned, and them being a barrier, and you wanting to avoid those.
A barrier. Okay.
Well, they are a barrier to picking up an aircraft, aren't they? I mean, I play a lot of DCS.
The way you get
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, the way you get around it is auto start, right? And auto stop, correct?
Yes, that's
a good way to get around it. So and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something to think about too, is most likely to keep it sane, in quotations, we'll try and implement an auto start and stop system from the get-go. That way people don't have to sit here and be like, I have to go fucking Google what every single switch in this plane does.
Yeah, of course.
So we're gonna try and make certain things user friendly, but we're also gonna try and appeal to the DCS crowd that's like, I want to flip switch.
Yes.
So to be fair though, we have a massive list of things that need to be done first before that happens.
Well, yeah, of course.
So it is a good thing. I'm glad you brought it up though. I'm just letting you know that we do have things that need to be taken care of first.
Yeah.
So
another thing that I also wanted to clear up, that I've seen a lot of people saying different things about, is the length of time that this has already been in development for. Do you know how long that's been, or
2 months?
You're not quite sure. 2 months total?
2 months total. They worked on it for 2 weeks before I was involved. Like 2 weeks, and then I got involved with it and started working.
Yeah, is that all
and
development time, or is like any of that concepting time?
To be 100% honest, I don't know about concept time, but this is pure development time.
Okay.
So they could have been talking about it for months, but I can't physically comment on that and give you an actual time frame of what they did for concept, because that's Ollie's side of the thing.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Because I got involved in the development half whenever we were starting the development process.
So 2 months total of development. Cool.
Yes. Which, to be fair, like, we started and then we got to the point that we're at, and I was like, how long have we been working on this? And they're like 2 months, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, that's either some insane hours or some incredibly fast coding and implementation, if you've got all the systems that you've said you've got working functional.
Yeah, Ollie works on it.
Ollie up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was about to say, he works 12-hour days. 10 to 12-hour days, working specifically to get this up and running. And he's been doing that for the last 2 months.
I see.
So, and all of the developers have been trying to replicate the same thing, but most of us like actually work jobs outside. So
yeah.
So we can't put in 12 hours a day, because it would be, not.
Yeah,
not
you have
good.
your own lives and such.
Yes. Myself included, I put about 6 hours into trying to get things flushed out and working. And there's a lot of things that we're trying to make sure are kosher, like right from the get-go, and not broken.
Yeah, of course.
So that takes time, and
you want to avoid the kind of classic Battlefield launch, then, where it's just full of bugs and
the
basically
Battlefield
unplayable.
2042.
Yeah, that's a brilliant example of a Battlefield launch. Okay. That's pretty much all the questions I have at the moment. If I think of any, I'm gonna stay up all fucking night. But yeah,
well,
you're lucky I'm running dry.
I mean, you're right. To be fair,
yeah.
But feel free to DM me and text and Ollie with the 3-word things, because the more wording we have, the better it is for everybody. Essentially, does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
If we change the wording on the website to what's kosher to people,
yeah, to better reflect what you're making, then there's going to be less confusion.
Less pitchforks and torches.
Yeah, of course.
So
can we get a memes channel?
Oh, God. You're probably gonna want one.
Honestly, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. In terms of the Discord in general, it needs a lot more kind of segmentation and
like I said in community questions, we're going to try and implement that, but that takes time, and that also takes trial and error.
Yeah, of course.
So, a memes channel, like who here knows Catronical, or Catronical.
No, can't say I do.
Y'all don't know the meme that people post of the GIF where there's an F-14 pilot that turns around and was like,
okay.
I will crash this plane right now."
Yeah, I know that one. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was flying with him when he did that. Like I know him.
Fair enough.
I know his Discord, and it's very memey. It's full of fucking Redditors, and I don't think I need to elaborate on what I mean by Redditors.
Yep. And
it's hilarious, honestly, going in there, and it's actually not that bad of a community that people said it was at the beginning. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to model exactly after him, but we're gonna try and get some major fixes for the Discord and fix the substructure and get it to where people are shit gets fixed.
I mean, channel is very essential to a Discord server, especially to a successful Discord server.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
if you don't mind me just sharing quickly, there are a couple servers I'm part of that do a bit of game development that I've got here, in fact. This one I'm either very restricted on because I don't interact at all, or it's just like this somehow and is still sustainable. But this is SM2, which is a project, obviously, and then you've got these kind of channels here, announcement channels that you can have in your own server and such.
I can tell you right now, you're restricted. You're highly restricted.
Yeah, no, I just don't interact on this server at all. I don't do anything.
So that's another thing that I'm looking to implement. I myself don't know how to implement it, but I know several people who do. So I'm gonna contact them and get a hold of them and get that kind of a bot set up.
Yeah, things like Me6 and YagDP are kind of the most well-known ones. Then there's also Arma 3 Escape from Tarkov project, which I've contributed on a couple times myself. I've just talked to the devs, said, okay, this is kind of the thing that you want to go through with this. Let's see if I'm in any actual other ones that do game development. I mean, there's Northstar, which is the well-known kind of Titanfall 2 mod.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing that you have in here. You've got stages.
Playtesters, yeah.
Yep. I haven't opened this server in a fucking long time, as you can tell.
Yeah, clearly.
And then we've got Track While Scan, which looks very much different and very much...
well, of course it
the word
does.
for it is less professional than something like Northstar.
Well, it's kind of hard whenever Northstar probably had a lot more added to it at the beginning, and then all of that you see is added over time.
Yeah, no, they only went public when it was basically done, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously,
so they made
that's
sure
kind
that they
of
had
like
the
a model server, is what I'd go with the wording of.
Yeah, there's quite a few servers that I've been a part of that are, like, I'm a part of a Discord server that is for a business, an actual IRL business. It's called the Nexus, and they do D&D, they do Warhammer, they do all of that, and the same thing happened here that happened over there, but they run a business, actual IRL business, and it took them 2 months to figure out how to get all of their stuff set up that the way it's set up now. Yeah. And it wasn't like the very beginning. So that's just something that I agree with people on it. Is it professional? Like, do we lose professionalism whenever people come in here and we have to, and they saw the server how it was yesterday? Like, it's already completely different than it was yesterday.
Well, that could potentially be because there aren't 500 people in this voice chat. Everybody talking at once.
Yeah, that was bad. I have a few ideas, and I also think we're gonna have essentially like a dev chat where we could pull people in, but if you don't have certain roles, you're essentially server muted in there, so you can't talk. And then there'll be, of course, the chat, like the part of the chat window that's part of the voice call where you can go in there and message.
Yes, of course.
That way we can basically talk about it and talk about the development of the game and stuff, and people can still ask questions, but they're not sitting here talking over people who are trying to explain how the game's being developed and how certain things are being developed and answering questions.
I mean, one thing that you could do again is have a Discord stage and have something announced previously. Link a Google Forms that just lets you submit questions, pick through the questions and answer them.
Yeah.
That's one, and then you don't exactly have to interact with people spamming chat.
That's true. But, and like Ollie said, we're taking suggestions. So
yeah, of course.